good session. We have one more session to go. We're doing very well. For all of you who are hanging with us, thank you so, so much. We appreciate it. This is all good. This has been an enlightening evening for me, and I hope so for you. So we have Yvette Simpson. Is there anybody in this audience who's going to support Yvette? Can you give her a round of applause? We have Jon Harmon for Chris Seelbach. Pam Thomas. And Shawn Butler. For your opening statement, please tell us what are, or perhaps should be, true indicators of progress for the city of Cincinnati. And what are the most critical objective measures for Cincinnati moving in a positive direction? Also, please outline specific strategies for creating, managing, and sustaining such a vision for the future.
Good evening, I'm Yvette Simpson, and I'm running for re-election because I believe that Cincinnati can be greater. And so I love that our topic is progress, because really the true measure of progress is how well the least of us do. And so as a member of council, I focused on youth, which is, as you know, one of the biggest challenges, but one of the greatest opportunities. I did that because I grew up in a neighborhood that is very poor, in circumstances that were very dire and very difficult. And because of investment and because of people coming alongside me, I was able to grow up to become a lawyer and a council member. And I believe each one of our children has that potential. So we can't claim progress until each of our children has the promise to do better. And we're not meeting that objective right now, particularly because more than 1 in 2 of each of our children is in poverty right now. And although last year we went from 48 to 53% of children growing into poverty, 5% in 1 year, only 5.5% of our kids make it out of poverty in a generation. That is not progress. And so while I do support the progress that we're having as a city, and I think that's important, jobs are important, development is important, we know we're doing well when the least of us is doing well. And so we still have work to do. And that's not something that you cure in 2 years, and that's not something that the government can do on its own. That's why I started the Youth Commission for Cincinnati, which is 25 organizations, including parents and children, who really care about this cause, to talk about how we work together. Because the reality is our kids are not impacted by 1 or 2 factors. They're impacted by many factors. And I can feed children all day, but guess what? They're hungry. If they also don't have access to health care, they're not going to be successful. They can have the best education in the world, but if they show up hungry and tired, they're not going to be able to learn. And so we need to get beyond our annual reports, beyond all of the data, and say we need to work together. And we're not claiming progress. We're not claiming we've done a good job until every one of our children has an opportunity for success. That's how we measure progress. That's how we give ourselves credit for doing a good job. Thank you.
Very good. Jon Harmon for Chris Seelbach.
Thank you. My name is Jon Harmon. I'm representing Councilmember Chris Seelbach, who is at a wedding this evening, so he couldn't be here. Just for this opening, he did prepare something because that question it's intense. So
yeah, it is intense.
I've got a little bit of a prepared statement from him. He ran for city council in 2011 because he was inspired by his former boss and mentor, David Crowley, who taught him to have the courage to do what's right and seek out and fight for issues of justice, even when it's hard. He's running for re-election because Cincinnati is on the rise in many areas, but there's still so much more to do. We have to make the right decisions to move forward, and a lot of that starts with decisions about leadership at City Hall. Councilmember Seelbach voted to cut his own pay to balance the budget, voted against giving the city manager a raise and $30,000 bonus because moving into progress means knowing what a bad idea is. And it takes the right investment for our neighborhoods to move forward on a lot of these issues that have been discussed tonight. And one of those is going to be the Focus 52 Fund, which we can see real examples from. Right now in Bond Hill, the Jordan Crossing site, which has been a blight on the community for a while, is being torn down and redeveloped for a grocery store, which is lacking in the whole area. We have several food deserts, and Bond Hill is clearly one of our larger ones. A grocery store, office space, and new housing that's representative of the community. So making sure that the Focus 52 Fund is protected in the next budget cycle will be key for council in terms of managing these exact projects that can be going forward in our neighborhoods. And finally, following in David Crowley's footsteps, focusing on issues of justice. When we see people being discriminated against in any way, it's key that for our city to grow, and population growth will be such a huge part of getting through all of our budget issues and making the city a more vibrant place, that making sure we're defending and protecting people because of all the way through, whether it's regardless of the color of their skin, how much money they make, or who they love, it's clear that council can be in that role and protect people. Thank you.
Very good. Pam Thomas.
Thank you. I'm Councilmember Pam Thomas, and first I'd like to thank the Greenwich and the League of Women Voters, for which I am a member of, and City Beat for having me here today. And a lot of things have been said about being open, honest, and transparent, but I am one of those individuals that truly believe that we must be open, honest, and transparent with our constituency and with the decisions that we make in city government. As many of you may not know, I was appointed back in April to fill the unexpired term of my husband, Cecil Thomas, who was term limited. Although Cecil and I morally, ethically think alike, I must caution you that we may not vote the same. Progression in this city can look in many ways. One is our graduation rate in our schools. Are we really graduating kids that can go on and be productive citizens of the society? And the true test will come next year when the third grade guarantee comes around. How many of our children will fail the third grade? How many of our third graders will not be able to read? Another progress is looking at the youth violence that's going on. We need to do something about that. We need to get the police out on the street. We need to engage our youth in education and training programs to make them more valuable, make them their self-esteem and their worth valuable. We need to look at the new businesses, both small and large, that are coming back into the city. We need to look at the residences that are moving back into the city. And we need to look at our property values. Are they continuing to decrease? Or are they continuing to increase? And part of that is making sure that our neighborhoods are vibrant and are beautiful, that our potholes are filled, that our sidewalks are fixed, that our infrastructure is strong. So these are the different things that we need to do in Cincinnati. And another thing would be, we need the members of council and the mayor to disagree. We can disagree, but
That's your time, Ms. Thomas? That's your time. Okay.
Thank you.
Shawn Butler,
Hi.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes, starting now.
Starting, bam!
All right. I'm Shawn Butler. You can find more about my profile and my platform on butlerforcouncil.com. To answer the question, I think that I look at progress in three areas. Progress equals growth, and we need to grow our structurally imbalanced city budget, so the budget is one. Also, the next one is a decrease in social and economic inequalities. We can track that and see how good of a job we've been doing, and then also population growth. Now, those three factors for me and focuses are one in themselves. If we come to balancing our structurally imbalanced budget, which we've done a good job with. In the last 8 years, we've halved our budget from $60 million to $30 million, and that is progress right there. We can track that. We don't get a lot of credit for that. Social inequalities start with education. As a council member, we focus on core services, but we also, as leaders, have to work to get galvanized partnerships in our community. And CPS is a real partnership that, if elected to council, I'd be laser focused on looking to. We have 34,000 to 36,000 young people graduating every year and populating our population. They're tax-paying citizens. They can either be a detriment to our system, or they need the opportunity to be productive citizens. And marketing ourselves better as a city will tell people we're a hot place to be. Cincinnati is great downtown right now. We need to extend it to our neighborhoods. But folks, when they hear that Cincinnati is the place to be, they will move to our city. Our city once had a population of 500,000 people. Progress is getting back to that level. We were a top 10 livable city when we were in 500,000 people, and Forbes has listed us right now as top 10 emerging cities. So we've been doing a good job, and progress to me is continuing and investing on our low-hanging fruit as elected leaders.